Hi, my name is Kasha Samel, and I'll be telling you the story, The Mountain of the Men and the Mountain of the Woman. And this story takes place in Cambodia, and it talks about two mountains and marriage customs. I would tell this story to teens and adults because it talks about marriage customs, but it can also be told to, you know, everyone, a wide variety of age groups. Long, long ago, marriage customs were a little bit different back then. You see, it was the females who had to propose, pay for the wedding, and also give gifts to the groom and his family. And they thought this was unfair for the men were stronger than the women. And because the females couldn't create enough wealth to find a good husband, this was a major problem. And so the females discussed among themselves. And they decided to send representatives to the king for advice. And this king was the first king of Cambodia, for he had united the North Kingdoms and the South Kingdoms together. And so he had great wisdom that they wanted to hear from. And so the representatives arrived to the city of Angkor, where the palace was, and were led into the magnificent palace, and finally led to the king and his great throne room. And they bowed their head in respect. The king said, "My beautiful daughters of Cambodia, why have you come here? What do you need my help with? Speak." And so the female representatives did. And they told them, "Your Majesty, we have come to discuss a great matter. It concerns all the females in the land. We believe that it's unfair that we have to propose to the men, pay for the wedding, and also give gifts to the groom and his family. We're not afraid of hard work, no, for we are the ones who give birth. We are the ones who cook, clean, and support our husbands. No, we are not afraid of hard work. But the men are stronger than we are. But why isn't it that they are the one with this heavy responsibility?" The king thought about it. "Perhaps you're right, but these are ancient traditions passed on from our ancestors. It cannot be changed all of a sudden. How do you propose this change?" And so one of the female representatives said, "Your Majesty, if I may say." And he said, the king allowed her to speak. And she said, "Your Majesty, I suggest that you gather all the unmarried men and women and give them a task to complete, a race of some sorts. And this competition can be used to decide the fate of the matter, the fate of the marriage customs." "Okay, good plan," king said. But for such an important matter, what type of tasks should be given?" The king pondered and said out loud. And then one of the female representatives said, "Your Majesty, if I may suggest." And the king allowed her to speak. And she said, "Well, you can have all the unmarried men and women gather. And to show honor and respect for you, Your Majesty, the great king, have them build a mountain for you, each group building a mountain. And give them 5 days, but the days will start with the rise of the morning star. That time is before the sun shows its face, while also the night sky crocodile can still be seen. And on the 5th day that the morning star rises, they must all stop." The king thought of us. What a good plan. 2 mountains. You see, Kampong Cham didn't really have a lot of mountains, and so the king liked this idea. 2 mountains in honor of me, the great king. I can use the mountains to see approaching enemies. and I can also be closer to heaven when I sit on the peak. And so he decided with a plan. Okay, we'll use your plan. So the next day he gathered his ministers and all the unmarried people, and he told them that the women felt it was unfair and that the marriage customs, they wanted to change it. But the men just laughed and joked about it. And the king got mad. He said, "Silence! We must be fair to the women." And thus I have come up with a plan. And he proposed the mountain building race. And all the men and women agreed. Afterwards, he took them to the east side of the Mekong River to show them the grounds of where the mountains would be built. And he said, as a reminder, remember, you'll be given 5 days that start with the rise of the morning star. You can work both during the day and night, but on the 5th day that the morning star rises, you must stop. But to help you guys out, on the first morning star rise, we'll sound a drum to show you when you can start building your mountain. And he left them, the unmarried men and women, at the grounds.